I'm working with Design Shop Editor. It is version 11 on my laptop. I do have Pro on the desktop, but I wanted something that I could carry around with me easily. And the laptop is much easier for that reason. And I know that I could deactivate and reactivate, but each time I did, I was losing my settings that I prefer. So my solution was to go ahead and buy a lesser version of Design Shop so that I could have that on the laptop and keep the Pro at home. And this way I could read my OFM files when I was away from the desk. Been amazed at how much there is here. And I looked at just the lettering version, but I wanted to at times be able to draw simple shapes and add to designs that were already made. So that was why I chose Editor. The nice thing though is with version 11 they've added some features, and of course that came along with Editor, and as well as the Merrow stitch, and I'll show you that at the end of this. I'll make a small patch. And so I have this funny little lettering. This is from a novelty song of 1943. It just amuses me. It always has. I'll touch enter to set it. And by double clicking at lettering, I get into the properties, and then I can divide this up the way I want it. I want that to go there and here. We're going to sew the letter straight across. This is a new feature in version 11. You can also trim between letters, and of course trim between words. I believe you had in version 10, but trimming between letters is going to be handy at times. I'm going to go with closest point. The underlay I'm going to leave as the Melco digitizers have set it. Compensation, I usually end up, at home I have this set up on point, so that we'll see what this does. Might want to change that later. And auto apply, of course. Okay, now this is kind of big and bold. I want to, and they're 1-inch letters, so I want to look for something much smaller. So let's go into the scripts and see what we find. This is a nice feature that came with, I believe, 11. I don't think I had it in 10, where you have the legend of, it shows you what size these were originally designed for. So a minimum height of 0.4, maximum height of 2 inches. And by just hovering over in here. By hovering over, I can also touch my down arrow key. I'm not crazy about that Z. I like the alphabet otherwise, so it gives me an idea right off that I'm not going to want that one. Brody I do like, but I want to go smaller than that 0.67 inch. So let me keep looking. And you know, we could actually jump to micro and see what we see. Micro block goes down to 0.2. Mini, goodness, 0.17. That's really tiny. And that's going to be too fancy for what I want. Those letters are shaped nice. We'll go with that. And of course 1 inch was way too high. Let's do, oh, I don't think it was 25, but let's give it a shot. Okay. Now, when this is in lettering, and I'm creating it was created in Melco, so it is an OFM file. I can easily move these around. So I'm going to go with that. touching 0 on my keyboard, it shows up in the complete complete screen, but touching 1 brings it down to actual size. They added, I was just surprised to find all of these things here. There is a boot or a horseshoe that might be fun. We'll stay with custom. But you could add fleur-de-lis, makes everything look good. And of course it's too large. I'm going to hold my shift key and my left arrow and move it in closer. Whoa, too close. Go out a little bit. Duplicate and move it over across the way. We can select that one. We'll get them both. Object, align, top. Nope, don't want to do that. Control Z. What I need to do to begin with is go ahead and group that. Object, group, object, group. I'll set up hotkeys for those as well so that I can hit Control G like I'm used to. Now let's select all of the gold. And we're doing object, align, top. That gets them in line. I'm going to go ahead and center the design. I think that one's too far in is what's going on. Okay, somewhere in there. What is my actual size? We're going to go back to where the Merrow shapes are. Faux Merrow. Isn't that fun? So they have created this with a default of 3 1/4 inches in width. And I'm going to select the one without a center and drag it to my screen. And let's see how much we need to enlarge it. A little bit. And what I'm finding is that I can alter it slightly. I'm going to exaggerate this and show you what is not a good idea. If I took this to 6 inches, see how it starts to get distorted? Now you could fiddle with it. That wouldn't be much to grab this one, grab that under that that zigzag stitch. I could probably change it. And that brought it in. That's not bad at all. I could live with that. So I told you don't do it, and then I broke my own rule. But let's back up and get it back to where it was originally. Okay, 375 is the default. And I found that if I could take it just maybe 1/4 inch, but I'm going to need more than that. Let's look at 425. It's still not there. So if I make sure that they're all selected, I can use the handles and pull this until it does cover what I need for a patch. And I don't need all of that, so I'll reduce that. Let's go ahead and group that one. Object, group, so that when I center it, everything goes together. So I would then save this Merrow patch, and I want to be sure and save it as my OFM. I do use a Melco machine, but sometimes I do work for people that don't. They're using the little brother home machines. So I'm going to go ahead and save it. And then, but for someone else to use this design, I would need to go File, Save As, and let's say perhaps PES, P-E-S, for the little brother machines, and I'll save it. It's asking me which who. We'll go with that. Okay, now I'm going to close out my OFM, and I'm going to open. I think there must be some more things that I could do so that this doesn't just, I'll say Program Design Shop 11, because if you'll notice, both of my files that I just now created say Program Design Shop 11. But I'll know that the PES is the smaller of the two because it doesn't retain all of the stitch information. So more than likely, I'm not going to want to take it and open it as a PES and try to change a lot of things. I can do minor changes, but not like I can with the OFM. So I'm going to go ahead and open it. But I want you to see that this is no longer lettering. So if I was to spell, it all looks like it's spelled wrong now, doesn't it? Because it's a silly little song. But if I did want to go in and change the spelling, I can't do that with this PES file because these are no longer Melco native OFM letters. They are nothing but shapes. So it's very important that you go ahead and save whatever you're creating in Melco. Do save it as the OFM, and then of course you can convert it to any other file that you want. But for someone else to try to edit this, they're going to have quite a time trying to spell something different with the design that you have. Of course, they could, delete part of it and patch something else in, but getting it exactly set up the way you have it is going to be very, very tricky. So I would advise that you always save your OFM files. Thanks for watching. It's been fun for me. Bye.